One of the things I really enjoy about doing this podcasting thing is that it gives me the ability to take a concept that you may think is complicated or confusing and spin it around just a little bit so that you look at it from a slightly different angle, and suddenly this concept is much less complicated, much less confusing. Today, I wanted to talk to you about reviews. And I know we've been talking about reviews, and I've got a few more episodes of talking about reviews, but this particular episode, what I want to talk about are missing reviews. And if you're not quite sure what I mean by missing reviews, think of it like this. If you go to someone's online profile and you look at, you're looking at Yelp or you're looking at Google and looking at the reviews, and they've been in business for a certain period of time, you're thinking to yourself, I should see a certain number of reviews on their profile. It just makes sense to you. And if you don't see them, all of a sudden you have questions in your head. Why don't I have those? Well, you don't want those questions popping around. So you want to have a certain number of reviews so that question goes away. So if you don't have those reviews, that means all those reviews you should have had or you should have gotten, however you're supposed to say that, are missing. And if they're missing, the question is, where'd they go? What we're going to do today is help you understand where to look so that you don't miss those reviews in the future. Hey there, how you doing? This is Chris, your friendly neighborhood internet Sherpa, back again with another one of those tips on how to bring bodies through the door, put cheeks in the seats, and of course, build your list. Now, in a perfect world, all you got to do to get someone to go online and leave you a review is do good work. We clearly don't live in a perfect world. If you want someone to leave a review, what's really got to happen is they've got to have a reason, something that gets them to do more than just go, thanks, appreciate it. For them to go through the effort of going online, finding your profile, blah, 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 blah. They got to do some work, and you got to make it worth their while, or they've got to make it worth their while. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to giving people reasons, or when it comes to reasons, there's only three groups of people that you really need to consider. And I'm pretty sure you're familiar with at least two of those groups. The first group, those are your fans. Those are the folks that go skipping out of your salon or skipping out of your establishment, and they're just as happy as they want to be. They're so happy that they're talking to people while they're walking down the street, telling people just how much you know about what you're doing, that you're all that and some chicken, and that everyone that they know should come to see you. They're self-motivated. You don't have to get them to leave a review. They're halfway to a review the second they get out of the chair. On the other end of the spectrum, you got those folks that I know it's a little bit of misnomer, but it makes it easier to talk about them. We're just going to call them haters. For whatever reason, they're dissatisfied with you. And I'm not talking a little dissatisfied. They wish you never went into business. They think that you are just a blight on whatever profession that you're in. And they're willing to go online and tell everyone and their brother so. Again, they're self-motivated. They may be a little bit off in their understanding of the reality of things. Maybe they're not, but bottom line is they're dissatisfied, and you don't have to get them to leave a review. They're going to do that on their own. Well, if you got the people who are your fans and you got the people who are haters and they're self-motivated, who's that leave? That leaves that fat group of people in the middle, the folks that are just not emotional. They're not fans. In other words, they're satisfied with what you did, but they're not sitting there skipping out of the salon. They're not going from where you're at going, man, old Frap just ate Galoo, and they're not walking around grumbling. They're simply satisfied. They came to you for a service. You did the service. They paid you. They're like, cool, deuces, talk to you later. That group of people is where the majority of your reviews actually come from. Seriously. And the thing is, you got to harvest that group. You can't just allow them to just do it on their own, because they're not. Because it's just not the thing to them. It's not that they're averse to leaving a review. It's just that it just doesn't occur to them. It's not a thing that they're supposed to do. It's not a if this, then that. So the question is, how do you go and get that group of people, that fat group of people, to leave you a review? And no, I'm not trying to give you some secret, everyone's going to leave you a review. They're not. This is one of those Michael Jordans, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, or maybe it was Wayne Gretzky, whoever's cliche that is. But the bottom line is, if you ask people to leave you a review and you give them a reason, if they're satisfied with you, you'd be surprised how many will actually go through the effort, especially if you make it easy for them, if you have a little system, as opposed to making them have to do the work. And we'll get into that another time. But the reason, and the reason's easy. If you simply tell people that leaving you a review, one, helps you get better. at what you're doing because you get their feedback. And two, it helps other people who need what you do to find you. That's easy money right there. That's a way for people to do good without having to expend a whole lot of effort on their part. Oh, they believe you do good work? Let me help you out with that. Or, oh, let me show you, yeah, it's good stuff here. That's all it takes. Just give them a reason and almost forgot that other thing. Ask. That's kind of a thing. You have to ask. Now, when we talked about that system, you've been in places where they send out automated reviews and things like that, automated review requests. That's part of a system. It's not the only part of the system, but it's part of the system. And if you want to increase the number of reviews you get, you have to have a system. But before the system kicks in, the most important thing you need to understand is that the people that you're going after is that fat group in the middle, and you have to give them a reason why. And that's pretty much it. The rest of the details I'll hit you with, I think I'm going to try and knock out a bunch at one time because this is actually good stuff. And we're getting to the really, really cool stuff. But I need you to understand who we're talking about. When I say ask for reviews, now you know exactly who we're talking about that you should be asking. All right. So there you have it. I think we're going to bounce from on that one. Try to keep this one short, pithy, if you will. If you're still wondering how this online marketing thing goes, how to use this thing called the internet, there's some fundamentals you need to know. But more importantly, there's a base concept that you need to wrap your head around because everything else lays on top of it. And the cool thing is to find out about it, you ain't got to do nothing but go to c2local.io/free thing. Because it's a free thing. I'm not charging you anything for it. You don't got to give me your email address or nothing. It's just sitting out there because I figure if we're going to be having this conversation on a regular basis, we need to be on the same sheet of music. You need to understand what I'm cooking, be able to pick up what I'm laying down. And if you go over there and check that out, then you'll have a much better understanding of where all this stuff is. Because like I said, the fundamentals are the fundamentals. And if you want to be successful with using this thing called the internet, it's kind of a good idea to understand how it works. So hop on over there and take a peek. Until then, have yourself a great week. Talk to you later. Deuces.